Welcome to r/IDontWorkHereLady, where we share stories about folks that are mistaken for employees by irate customers. And today we have 4 best fresh stories about Karen. So subscribe, hit the like button, and here we go. The first story is Night of the Living Karens. Tried to post before. I think, however, Reddit censored it because of my profession. A little about me, I'm a CEO running 4 retail shops that cater to sporting goods that heavily focuses on hunting, but is not limited to hunting. The coronavirus panic had just kicked in. I put in a full 16 hours checking inventory, doing the billing and payroll. I decided to stop and shop for dinner at Walmart. I walk in wearing a black shirt that says "My rights don't end where your feelings begin," with a Gadsden flag on it. On the back I had a custom print done saying my rights are not up for negotiation until you give up your car with the number of people who die in car accidents, and think of the children under it. I hit the pre-made salad and sandwich island. Nothing. I move around to the burrito area. I hear an behind me. I figure I was in the way and moved out of the way. I hear the annoyed again, followed by an irate voice of a wild Karen. "You should at least acknowledge me, sir." I look up and she begins to ask me if I'm going to make any more sandwiches. I say, "Madam, I don't work here." I do know, however, the sandwich people are gone for the day. They'll have more in the morning. She storms off talking to herself that I was a rude associate. I shrug and continue shopping for my dinner. I move over to the pizza section and there's nothing. Yet while there I get yelled at by another Karen. She demanded to know why I was out of uniform and that I almost ran her over despite keeping the 6-foot social distance. I politely tell her, "Madam, I don't work here." I then mosey off before she can speak to me further. While walking away, I hear her gasp and explain loudly to someone that I was very rude to her. In the frozen food aisle, looking for at least a bag of french fries or tater tots or even a frozen pizza, I hear another behind me. I push forward, thinking I'm in the way again. I hear another followed by a hand on my shoulder. It's a Chad and a Karen. Chad is the one grabbing my shoulder. I push his hand off and turn to face him, telling him if he can touch me, he's within the state-mandated 6-foot distance, and to peeve off. He recoils in horror and his Karen gasps. He demands to speak to my manager. I tell him I don't work here. You can talk to the manager all you want. I then walk away as they storm off to the customer service center. I finally find food for dinner. A frozen bag of veggies and frozen chicken strips in the next aisle. I move on and grab some trail mix before breakfast and lunch tomorrow for work. I head to the sporting goods section to look at their pew-pew materials. I can sometimes find cheaper there than my own shops. I buy 3 boxes of 12-gauge turkey pew-pew materials, the last 3 there. I hear a Chad behind me howl in disgust. "Why are you buying those? You work here. Paying customers first. Those are mine by right," he legit shouts. I turn and politely tell him yes, paying customers first, and I am a customer who just bought them. I do not work here. His pet Karen chimes up. "You certainly do work here. I see you here all the time." I explain I don't work here. I'm the owner of Business Names. I then walk away, leaving them fuming. The poor girls with the key to the pew-pew materials cabinet chimes up. "He don't work here." They go off yelling at her about how she's covering for a thieving employee who's taking from customers to be a rude, greedy person. I stop by office supplies and electronics to pick up some goodies. I then remember something from my list back in the food section. I go to get English muffins. I don't see the kind that I like, but I see the honey wheat ones, and I grab 3 for the gazillion eggs I got at home. A wild Karen freaks out on me. "You're an employee, you shouldn't be hoarding stuff." I politely tell her I do not work here, and exasperated ask why does everyone think I'm an employee? I'm clearly not dressed like an employee. Everyone must be either drunk or their parents or brother and sister and stuck on stupid. She comes back with "Why else would you be in Walmart?" I walk away laughing and retort, "You must be a Walmart employee too. Why else would you be in Walmart?" I'm looking over jewelry when Chad from Sporting Goods walks up and reaches into my carriage, taking out the 3 boxes of 12-gauge turkey pew-pews. This was seen by Mark. Mark is the 62-year-old store manager who's being followed by no less than 10 people, all pointing at me saying that I was the rude employee who they had been snubbed by. The Chad, caught red-handed, claims I stole them out of his cart. Mark listens to them and all their complaints while keeping a smile. After they each said their piece, he proudly declares to the group, some of which had people who didn't even talk to me, upset about my choice of attire, that I do not work there and never have, that I'm a regular customer, but I own a number of sporting goods stores, and that he had bought a turkey scatter pew for his nephew to hunt with, directly from me, and saw me walk out of the office of the store. Many grumble and accuse him of playing favorites and protecting his employees, vowing to complain to corporate and never shop there again before disbanding. Mark turns to the Chad still holding the 3 boxes of my turkey pew-pews. "You come with me." I follow Mark, and Mark reviews the camera footage to determine who the boxes belong to. I even provide my receipt, because I never walk away from sporting goods without paying. Mark turns to me and asks if I want to press charges. I agree and wait for the police. Chad is arrested, and I fill out my witness statement. Mark does so as well and turns over a copy of the security footage and a photocopy of my receipt. I pay for my things, and Mark compensated me with 3 bags of trail mix for the insanity of the store. We joke exchange some talk about our respective businesses and the chaos. I wave and tell Mark I'll see him later and to drop by the shop that his other pew-pew spewer had come in, and I'll throw in a goodie bag for him to thank him for the extra trail mix. I left having survived the night of the living Karens in one piece. The second story is Male Karen's Low-Salt Sermon to the Wrong Congregation. I'm a DSD vendor, meaning I stock a specific brand of product only, without working for the place I'm actually stocking it. Name brands of beer, bread, snack cakes, chips, sodas, snack crackers, some cookies, some frozen pizzas, and more are stocked by DSD vendors, and typically wear uniforms branded as such. I get mistaken a lot for someone who works at any of my route stops. 10 to 20 oops sorries per day. Most of them are just simple oopsie mistakes, and they move on, no biggie. Some people, however, seem to perceive this information as irrelevant. The cast today is just me, and what appears to be a thinner off-duty Carl Winslow, with his entourage of the Amen section, who looks the type would say honey child regularly. We'll call the dude C&P, for clearly not Perot. Please do not interpret my recollection of his accent as critical. I genuinely love his particular way of speaking, and wanted to try to capture it. Plus, I'm one of the people who read these aloud on YouTube to try to pronounce it as such, for giggles. Act 1. So, I was stocking my usual product when C&P rounds the corner, like he's in a hurry, and without missing a beat, asks me bluntly, "Tell me where that Kool-Aid." Me pausing to think a second. "I think it's on this aisle, actually." C&P. "Okay, now tell me where that flour." Me. "Flour like for baking?" "That I'm not sure, as I'm not actually with the store. I don't really know where other stuff is much." He just breezes on past, and I resume my usual thing, thinking this may be one of the many ordinary encounters. He hunts down his druthers and disappears to aisles unknown, and I go to the back to get more stuff to stock. I see a gaggle of more finely adorned ladies turn another corner, who I later discover are with him. They nod at me and shop casually down a different aisle. Act 2. I come back down the main aisle with more stuff to stock, and he rounds the corner of the aisle they were on and asks them if they found any low-salt stuff, which that aisle is known pretty well for being high salt in general. C&P, looking over to me. "Tell me where that is low salt." Me, "Low salt what in particular? Of this stuff?" C&P, "Yeah, or anything of that low salt." We look around for a minute on that other aisle, just trying to help the guy out, despite me being totally unfamiliar with that section. Me, "I think the masses have beat you to the low salt kinds of these items. Looks like they're sold out." C&P, "You gotta have some of them low salt some around." We keep looking, and all of the low salt options are gaping holes because of the swarming masses of panic buyers lately, and lower supply of the more niche versions of everything in general. Tons of the high salt plain types though. C&P, "My doctor done told me gotta have low salt now. Gotta go to them low sodium now, you hear me?" Me, "I understand, but it looks like it's sold out. There's low fat in some cases, but it doesn't say anything about salt. If you ask me, you should just avoid this whole aisle or just any snacks in general if you're on a low salt diet. All of this and that kind of stuff is basically high sodium." C&P, "Your store gotta stock some of them low salt. Doctors say I gotta do low salt, and I can't find none of them low salt. You gotta tell the store they gotta put them low salt out, you hear me?" Me, "I'm not with the store like I said before. I'm with vendor and I don't have any say in what gets ordered, and they wouldn't really listen to me anyway, considering I don't work here. If you want my expert medical opinion from the School of Groceries, I suggest you not even bother with this aisle at all." Entourage muttering in agreement with me. Honey, looks like they out of them low salt. We best get a move on. He ain't even with the store. Didn't you hear him? He ain't gonna know what salt is which kind. He ain't no dietitian. He with vendor." I mouth thank you and nod to the ladies, and they nod back quietly with eye rolls and laugh a little. C&P grabs a few low-fat things and holds one up to me, showing me the back of it, pointing at the nutrition facts, which says 11% sodium DV per serving. Me, "Sir, I don't know whether that's good or bad. I don't know if 11% is high or low for a long list of reasons." C&P, "That done looky like a low salt to me. You need to tell them store they gotta order more of them low salt. I gotta eat now, you hear me?" Me, "Sir, the stuff on this aisle's all junk food. You ain't gotta have none of this stuff." C&P and Entourage traipse off, and I don't hear anything back from them, and I take my stock elsewhere and put it out. At least I came away from it with a fun story to share that didn't get too heated, despite his apparent disregard for any facts anyone could offer him. It's a wonder that doctor managed to convince C&P to change his diet to begin with. The third story is, a wild Karen meets her match. For background, I'm a police officer in Australia. I work in plain clothes. At work, I wear a business shirt with tie, suit pants, and have my utility belt with gun, taser, pepper spray, and all other necessary accoutrement on the belt. I also have a police badge clipped to my belt and another police badge with my work ID around my neck. The incident also happened while coronavirus was spreading rapidly. Most businesses had been closed by government mandate. People had to ensure they're practicing social distancing, or they can be fined. The government hasn't mandated that people stay home, but have limited the number of people allowed in groups, no contact with strangers, and you should only be out for work or essential supplies. It's also important to know that in Australia, members of the public cannot carry firearms in public, and it's difficult to get a license to even possess a firearm. A few days ago, I was at work, and my partner needed to buy supplies from an office supply store nearby. The staff at this store wear fab blue polo shirts. We went to the store, and my partner was getting everything she needed. I was waiting when I hear this screeching voice from behind me. "Where are the chargers?" I turn around and see this Karen standing there with her arms crossed glaring at me. Now, let me remind you that I'm wearing all my work gear and a bright pink long-sleeve business shirt. I say to the Karen, "I'm not sure where the—" Karen is not impressed and cuts me off, steps very close to me, well within what I consider my personal space at the best of times, but when I'm at work, it's an offensive gesture. Karen then screeches, "You work here! How the heck do you not know where chargers are?" I look the Karen dead in the eye and with a stern voice say, "First thing, I don't work here. Second thing, I'm a police officer." I point at my gun, taser, and badge. Third thing, you're currently breaching social distancing laws and can be fined. Step back now. The Karen quickly turned around and ran from the store. I'm just happy that actual staff didn't have to deal with her because she was rude from the start. I should have pointed out that a phone charger isn't an essential purchase. Edit. Our government deems essential items as food and medicine. You can also go outside to exercise or travel to work. I'm a 32-year-old, and for me personally, a phone charger is essential. I live off my phone, but is anything a Karen wants really essential? And the last story is, Karen tells my parents I assaulted her because I didn't work at a lemonade stand. When I was around 15, I was walking down the sidewalk from the woods where I was climbing some trees and messing around. I saw a lemonade stand some kids were getting ready and approached the stand to see how much the lemonade cost, when I spotted a Karen-looking figure jogging along the sidewalk towards the stand. The kid who was running the stand had gone inside to get things for the stand, leaving me alone by the table. Karen approaches me and says, "Hey kid, can I get one glass of lemonade?" I didn't think much of it and responded that it was not my lemonade stand, but Karen was not having it. I started off walking away, but she said, I asked for some lemonade," in a bratty voice. I once again said that I did not own the lemonade stand. She grabbed me by my shirt and pulled me back to the stand. "You know you work here, now give me some lemonade, you brat." I got scared and ran off down the sidewalk, with Karen yelling after me. I got home and thought it was over, but after 15 minutes there was a knock at the door. My mom answered to see Karen standing there. "Can I help you?" my mom said. "Your brat of a child assaulted me and refused to serve me lemonade," she said. My mom was bewildered. "What? Lemonade? My son isn't selling lemonade." "That's the Blank Brothers lemonade stand. I got some from them yesterday." Karen started looking nervous. "Well, your son touched me." That's when my mom shut the door and locked it. I had not seen Karen since. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.